I'm really sad and heartbroken for Alex. I've been in those shoes. She has done so much for our women's national team and for US soccer in general. And I just hope this doesn't define her. I hope she doesn't define herself by this. It is going to be a hard pill to swallow for sure.
I know Americans were shocked recently when they heard Alex Morgan would not be joining the women's team in Paris this summer. I'm curious what your thoughts are on Emma Hayes' decision, and also what advice would you give to Alex on dealing with it? Do you feel like a young team needs more of an experienced player on the pitch than fresh legs, or do you think fresh legs is more important than an experience?
Well, I'm not in camp with them, so I can't really opine on, the actual decision. I'm just really sad for Alex. Our careers have sort of paralleled each other, and I was, as she was playing in World Cups and Olympics, I was doing the same, and it's been so fun to watch her career. I've been in her shoes, and it's a horrible, horrible feeling. Ultimately, in our sport and in most sports, team sports, one person ends up making a decision on your career sometimes, or your future, or your ability to play. And that's the reality. We all know it. We all signed up for it. So it's not woe is me, but that is the reality. And if one person decides that you're not going, you don't go. And so that's the difficult part. I'm really sad and heartbroken for Alex. I've been in those shoes. She has done so much for our women's national team and for US soccer in general. And I just hope this doesn't define her. I hope she doesn't define herself by this. It is going to be a hard pill to swallow for sure. But she's a really strong woman, and I know she'll be okay. It's just this is going to be a hard time for her.
Yeah. If you were on the phone with her right now, what would you say? Like, you got this, girl?
I would say it will pass. For me, it was about 2 weeks of, being really depressed and sad, and because you realizing in that moment that your career with the national team is coming to an end, and you didn't get to decide it. Someone else told you that it was over. And so that's really difficult. You don't have any control over that. And that's hard for her.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I know I'd be angry. And even for the men, they also embrace a very similar mentality. So much so that, they don't bring some of the top names to the Olympics rather than the up and comers. So for someone who doesn't know, could you kind of explain why the United States men do treat the Olympic tournaments that way?
Yeah. So part of it is that they don't want the Olympics to mirror the World Cup. And so part of it is the Olympics are limited to players under 23 years old, except you get 3 exceptions. So you can have 3 players overaged, but everyone else has to be under 23. So I think the system for the most part is good. It's different on the women's side. For the men, it's mostly good. But as someone who grew up a huge American sports fan, I got to go to one Olympics, so I'm not complaining, but I wanted the opportunity to go to many more. And once you're aged out, you can't go. So that's, challenging, but I understand.
Yeah. Copa America. I know at the time of filming this, the US men are just hours away from playing Panama in their second matchup. So obviously, without knowing the result of the game, what have been your takeaways from this team thus far? I feel like they've really seemed to bounce back after the loss to Colombia in that friendly prior to the tournament.
Yeah, it's been a really good bounce back from a really bad loss to Colombia in the second to last game before the tournament. And then they had a really good outing against Brazil, and then started well against Bolivia in the Copa America. So things are looking good. Tonight's game against Panama is really, really important because the third match is against a very good Uruguay team. And if you don't win the game tonight, that means you're probably going to have to tie or beat Uruguay, which is a very good team. So want to keep momentum going as we face Uruguay and hopefully the knockout stages. But so far, so good for our U.S. team.
Yeah. Christian has clearly taken his game to another level. Even further, his leadership skills, I feel like, are off the charts. Could you talk about the impact he's having on this squad on and off the field?
Yeah, you said it great. I think we all know his talent and what he's capable of. I can see in his face now, he's becoming a real leader. And it takes time to develop that. You think you're a leader when you're young, but you don't understand what it encompasses. And sometimes being a leader is doing what he did against Bolivia, taking the ball and scoring. Sometimes being a leader is defending for 90 minutes because that's what your team needs. Sometimes it's yelling at someone. Sometimes it's putting your arm around someone. And I think he's really starting to embrace that role. So if he gets that part right, the sky is absolutely the limit for him.
Right. I mean, the move away from Chelsea to AC Milan, could you just talk about how you think that helped to develop his skills in the grand scheme of things?
Well, it was huge for him, mostly in that it's important just to get playing every week at a high level. So
Sure.
At Chelsea, he was kind of in and out of the team, in and out of the lineup. At AC Milan, he is absolutely now a fixture in their lineup, and he's been fantastic for them. He's had a great season, and that confidence now carrying into Copa America has helped him a lot, and that's going to help the team a lot too.
Right. And speaking of leadership, Greg Berhalter, obviously there's no getting around the drama that kind of followed him after exiting the World Cup. The contentious nature of bringing him back as the head coach, it's just been a lot. So could you kind of tell me how you think he's handled all of that? And do you think that he has settled into being that leader that this team does need right now?
Well, first of all, it's good that there's criticism because that means people care.
Right.
I played a long time ago when people didn't care, so I'm just happy that people care and have opinions.
Right.
I, during the World Cup, was very vocal that my opinion was that Greg should continue. I think having continuity is really important for a group of young players, and I think that is shown to be valuable. The challenge now for the team and for Greg is, how does he make sure that his message doesn't get old with them? How do they make sure that they keep things fresh within the team, either by bringing in new players or just changing things slightly so that the players are continually stimulated? That's the challenge. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, so far in the Copa America, great. And let's hope that that continues.
Yeah. Before our chat, if you check the betting sites, the United States is still the 5th most likely team to win it all, behind Colombia, Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina. Do you think that the odds makers have that right?
Well, those odds makers basically always get it right. So they know something we don't, but it doesn't mean that there aren't upsets. I mean, I saw Georgia beat Portugal here in the Euros last night, and Georgia, I think, is the 80-something ranked or 60-something ranked team in the world, and Portugal is in the top 10. So that's why you play the games. In this sport, more than any other, upsets can happen. I actually don't think it would be a huge upset if the U.S. won the Copa America. It would be tough, difficult, but there's no reason why we can't do it.
Right. USA. All right. Quickly jumping across the pond here. Thank you again for your time. The Euros are in full swing as well, and you're over there covering them. First of all, I have to ask, what's it like sharing a broadcast booth with a legend, Ian Darke, calling these soccer games?
Well, you can only see him behind the scenes too. He is an absolute legend. He's this soft-spoken, sweet old English man, but he's funny. He's lively. He's vivacious. He's really fun to be around. He spent a lot of time together because we're together prepping all the time. It is an absolute honor for me, honestly, as someone who loves this sport and has listened to him call matches for many years. It is a true honor. And basically, Mackenzie, what I'd try to do is not mess it up the whole time. So I'd stay out of his way. I let him do what he does. People aren't trying to listen to me. They want to listen to him. And I try to add a little value where I can.
You're a legend yourself too. You got to give yourself some credit here. Obviously, the Euros are like the World Cup light when you look at the amount of top teams in it. And right now, England still represents the odds-on favorite to win it all. But what say you? Who do you think looks to be in the best form right now?
England have been pretty underwhelming so far. I think the two teams, in my opinion, that look best, and we've covered both of them, are Spain and Germany. Those two look like they are clicking. They look like they are confident. They're deep. And Germany playing at home is tough to beat. But I think if there's one team right now that I would say could beat them, it would be Spain. All
right, last question for you. 2 short years away from the World Cup coming to the United States. And as someone who is on the Mount Rushmore of American soccer, can you put into words how special it will be to host the next World Cup and what it'll mean for the growth of soccer in the country?
Yeah, first, I'm just so jealous that I don't get to participate in it as a player. But this will be the biggest sporting event in the history of the world. I mean, there's no question about it. And so if you think about this 4 or 5 years, you have Olympics this summer, Copa America Euros this summer. Next summer is Gold Cup and Women's Euros. Following year, you have the World Cup in America. Following year after that, you have the Women's World Cup. It's just, if you're a soccer fan in this country or a sports fan, it's a phenomenal time to be alive.
Tell us about this partnership you have with Zevo, who's official bug spray of the MLS. I personally hate bugs in the summer, so this sounds amazing.
Well, do you know anyone who likes bugs? I don't think so.
No.
No, well, playing soccer my entire life, as you can imagine, I've spent many, many, many days itching and scratching and destroying my legs and body. Not in a fun way. I see it now with my poor kids when they come home and they've been out all day. So this is a natural fit for me, playing a sport for this long. And Zevo's been a great partner. They're now the official bug for Major League Soccer too. They are putting a lot of time and energy and resources into this beautiful sport that I love. I'm an idiot. I was out golfing today and forgot to bring my bug spray, so I just got destroyed as I'm doing these media hits. So I'm an idiot, and it's a good reminder that anywhere you are, I'm in Amsterdam. I thought I was going to be fine, but you need it, and I'm fortunate and proud to be a partner with them.
Hey, sports fans, if you want to see more conversations with athletes and stars, check out these videos right here and be sure to subscribe for more from USA Today Sports.